Do you ever feel like you're in a nightmare where you're just stuck in the same loop over and over and over? He cheats, you cry, he swears that it meant nothing, you try to move forward, and just when you start to breathe again, it seems like it happens all over again. You're re-triggered, you're re-brought back to the same betrayal, the same lies, the same hollow apologies. And you're left standing in the same spot feeling like a fool for trusting him, except this time it cuts a little bit deeper. Because there's a piece of you that knew better and you still hoped. And if you're honest, it's not just the cheating. It's the way he convinces you that it didn't even happen, or that it wasn't that bad, or that it wasn't his fault, but it was your fault. You're not just dealing with a man who broke your trust, you're dealing with someone who is methodically breaking you down piece by piece. So let's talk about what's going on today. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel talking about narcissistic abuse, dealing with manipulation, gaslighting, cheating, and helping you wake up to the reality of the relationship you're in and how to actually have a step-by-step plan to be free from it. Let's talk about why narcissists cheat and how they keep getting away with it over and over and over. Because this isn't like a one-time mistake. This isn't about just a weak moment. A piece of this is about control and about ego. And about a bottomless need to feel powerful and desired at any cost, a void that a narcissist is trying to fill. You see, a narcissist cheats because it fulfills him. It affirms a fantasy that he has about himself, that he's special, that he's wanted, that he's untouchable. And when that attention starts to fade away, when real intimacy is required to go deeper, then he has to reach for the next hit. It's not even about sex. It's not even about connection. It's about this piece of domination, about escape, about never having to face the emptiness inside, the shame, the guilt. I worked with a woman who told me he cheated when I was pregnant. He cheated while I was taking care of his dying parent. He cheated a week after telling me that I was the love of his life. And they asked themselves, why? Like, how could someone do that to me? And the simple answer is because he could. Because he knew that you would clean up his mess. He knew that you'd question yourself before you'd ever question him, because he trained you at that point. Because he knew how to spin it, how to lie to your face, how to cry if he had to say whatever it took to keep you from walking out the door, and it worked. Because you've got a big heart. You wanted to believe the best in him. You wanted to hold on to the version of him that you fell for. The version that made you feel seen, made you feel wanted, made you feel alive. But the version that you actually saw, that version was just a mask. And every time you forgave, he learned something dangerous. He learned that he could betray you and that you'd still stay. He learned that he could do these awful things and you would still stay. So he did it again and again. Not because at this point you're even weak, not because you're even broken, but because he is, and he's using that to his advantage. Because he can't regulate his own insecurities, so he outsources it to other people. He uses other people to feel powerful, to feel wanted, and to feel like he matters. And once he's gotten this hit, then he returns to you acting like nothing happened. Or worse, blaming you of what he did, blaming you that you're the problem because you've been distant, you've been the one that's been always nagging me, you're the one that's pushed me away, you're the one that hasn't been available, and in that moment, you don't even know what's real anymore, so you start to question you. This is how I lived my life for many years, fulfilling whatever desires I had in the moment, and then making sure if I got caught or if I got found out, that I would flip it around. I would blame everybody else. It's not my fault, it's you. It's not my problem, it's you. And you have the same thing that's happening in your world, but the problem is you start replaying every conversation, every argument, wondering, what did I do wrong? What happened? But the truth inside of this is you didn't cause this. You didn't create this. You didn't force or make him to do this. You just believed the illusion. And that doesn't make you stupid. It makes you human. Because we're wired to believe what we're shown. And he showed you enough love, just enough remorse, just enough charm, just to keep the door open. And that's the pattern that you're seeing. That's how narcissists get away with it over and over and over, because he's drip feeding just enough connection to keep you hooked while feeding his ego behind your back. It's not a relationship, it's a performance. It's not a relationship that's there. It's like a leech. Like, you're carrying the weight of his choices on you. You're the one that's losing sleep. You're the one that's impacted physically, mentally, emotionally. You're the one that's scanning his phone, questioning your sanity, living in fear. What's the next name, the next text message, the next betrayal? Meanwhile, he's walking around like nothing ever happened. And if you press too hard, if you ask him too much about it, he flips it back onto you, and now you're the problem. You're the issue. You're too sensitive, you're too insecure, you're too controlling, and he shames you into silence, wearing you down until you feel crazy for just having boundaries, for just having clarity in your life. You're like, that is too much. That's not love. It's what we call psychological warfare, where he's attacking you. So what do you do? What do you do when you're stuck in a relationship where every betrayal you're at gets minimized, gets twisted, gets erased? What do you do when he keeps shattering the trust, but somehow you're the one that's apologizing to him? Let me break it down really plainly. One, you're not in a relationship. You're in a manipulation loop. A system designed to make you question yourself so deeply that you stop questioning him. Every time he cheats, you go through the same emotional hurricane: rage, grief, shame, confusion, and just when you're ready to walk, he reels you back in, not with truth, but with performance. He'll say exactly what you need to hear because he's studied you. He's gotten clear to be able to know your heart, to be able to know your patterns, to be able to know the exact cocktail of guilt and hope that will keep you frozen. So when he gets caught, he plays one of three roles. He'll be the victim. I didn't feel loved. I didn't think I was cared for anymore. I was lonely. He'll be the martyr. I sacrificed everything for this relationship. Don't I deserve something back? What about me? He'll be the reformer. I know I messed up. I'll do better. Please don't give up on me. I need you in my life to help me get better. And because you're loyal, because you're empathetic, because you actually have a soul, you give him another chance. You hang on hoping that this time will be different, but it never comes. Because he doesn't want to change. He wants control over you. He wants that manipulation and control. And cheating is one of the fastest ways to be able to get it. It resets the power dynamic. It keeps you off kilter, keeps you unstable, keeps you reactive, focusing on chasing his approval instead of protecting your own peace. And the messed up part inside of this is oftentimes he doesn't even enjoy the cheating half the time. He enjoys the control it gives him in the moment. Like the fact that he can destroy your world and still have you coming back, that's a huge ego boost. That's where his ego gets fed. I can do this and this person still comes back. That's pretty cool. It's not about connection. It's about leverage over you. It's like watching someone flip over the Monopoly board every time they start to lose and then convincing you that it was your fault that the pieces flew everywhere. This is why you don't play games with a narcissist. This is why you don't try to win at his game. Why? Because he changed the rules to benefit him. Maybe you've tried to hold the line. Maybe you've tried to confront him. Maybe you've tried to stand firm, demand honesty. But then you get hit 24/7 with gaslighting. The charm turns off, the rage starts to come in, and the coldness runs through. He withdraws, makes you feel like you're a burden, like you're the one damaging the relationship with all your questions and all of your drama. So what do? You start to shrink. You shrink down, you second guess who you are, you apologize for wanting clarity. You're like, okay, well, I won't bring that up again. That wasn't worth it. And little by little, your voice starts to disappear. Your intuition, it's muted. You no longer have a voice. Your boundaries, those are gone. Your identity's been dissolved at this point. And the more you disappear, the easier it is for him to just keep doing it over and over and over again. Because at this point, there's no resistance left. Like, you've been conditioned to accept less and call it love. To accept the betrayal and be like, oh, okay, this is okay. I'll just call it growth. To accept neglect and call it loyalty. You've been trained to do this. But that's not what love is. Love doesn't ask you to doubt your gut, to doubt yourself. Love doesn't make you feel like you actually are waiting to be chosen. Like, I'm like, maybe I'll be chosen this time. Love doesn't betray you and then ask you to clean it up. So let's talk about this. He is not sorry for what he did. He is sorry that he got caught. He's not changing. He's morphing long enough to keep you hooked. And he's not confused about what's happening. He's entitled. He's expecting it. He's entitled to your body, to your energy, to your forgiveness. He thinks he can just keep doing this over and over. He can just keep hitting the reset button because he knows you're going to keep showing up. So why not? So here's the shift inside of this. Stop showing up for someone who keeps walking out on you. Stop giving your body to someone who desecrates your trust. Stop protecting a man who would burn your entire world down just to feel powerful just for a moment, just for kicks and giggles. Because it's not your job to fix him. It's not your job to heal him. It's not your job to carry the weight of his shame so he doesn't have to feel it. The shame is not yours because you didn't make the decision. Those lies, they're not your responsibility. That betrayal, that's on him. That was his choice. And if you don't start separating his actions from your identity, you'll carry the scars that don't even belong to you. You'll keep living like you're the one who needs to prove something when all you've done is try, and he hasn't even tried at all. You've tried to love him. You've tried to hold on to the relationship, to keep it all together. You've tried to forgive and move forward. You've tried to let go and work through this. You've tried to stay loyal to a man who's violently disloyal to you over and over and over again, and you don't have to keep trying. You're allowed to choose peace versus being a prisoner in this relationship. You're allowed to choose clarity versus the chaos that he has you in. You're allowed to stop explaining your worth to someone who doesn't care to see it. Do you see this? How much more of yourself are you willing to give away? How much is left to give? How many more nights are you going to spend replaying old conversations, trying to figure out where you did something wrong, where it all went wrong? How many mornings are you going to wake up with a pit in your stomach, bracing yourself for the next lie? How long? Because the longer you stay with a narcissist who cheats, the more you lose yourself. And I'm talking about not just surface level losses. I'm talking about the way you stop trusting your own eyes. The way you stop recognizing your own voice, the way you stop having any aspect of the future. Your reflection becomes a stranger because you've bent yourself so far just to be enough for someone who's never satisfied. That's what this type of relationship does to you. It doesn't just hurt. It rewires your brain. It destroys your mindset. It trains you to expect betrayal and pretend that it's love. To suppress your needs, to call it maturity. It trains you to chase yourself while calling yourself patient, of like, let me keep chasing him. But let me tell you something inside of this. Maybe no one's ever said it to you, or maybe no one's ever said it this bluntly. You were never crazy. You were never too sensitive. You were never too much. You were never the problem. He was. You were just in a relationship with someone who refused to take accountability and responsibility for his own actions, for his own choices. Someone who used deception as a weapon and your empathy as a shield. Someone who built a cycle so familiar that it started to feel like home. But it's not your home because you don't belong in chaos. You don't belong in the betrayal over and over and over again. You don't belong in the role of the woman who's constantly apologizing for demanding the bare minimum in a relationship. Like, you were made for so much more, but I need you to see this. You're made for more honesty, for more clarity, for more peace, for more freedom, not what he's been putting you through. And maybe right now the more terrifies you because stepping out of the cycle means stepping into the unknown. But the unknown is where you'll find your power again. Because staying with him, you already know how that ends. He cheats, you cry, he repeats. He swears it'll never happen again. You forgive him, and then the cycle starts over again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Because there's no version of the story that suddenly turns into a fairy tale. No amount of believing it won't shift it. It always leads back to the same pain, the same heartache, the same hollow silence after he's done playing the victim, and you lose who you are. But if you choose yourself, if you actually draw the line, if you stop begging him to value what he clearly doesn't respect for you at all, you open a door to a different ending. It's not instant. And it's not easy, but it's real. It's steady, it's honest, and it's different because it's yours and it's not his projected onto you. And that journey all starts with a choice. A choice of you to stop letting someone else define your worth and define your value. A choice to stop living in survival mode. A choice to stop waiting for the next apology that will never come from a place of truth. You don't need another round of I'm sorries to make you feel better. You don't need another promise of an expiration date to when he's going to stop doing all this cheating. What you need is healing. You need clarity in your life. You need to come back to yourself. And that's exactly what we're building inside of Raw Motivations. Not just a program, not just an opportunity of you just checking boxes. It's being able to take your first breath after drowning for years in someone else's betrayal. Building a step-by-step path to break the trauma bond, to silence the gaslighting, to stop the cycle and start living from truth instead of trauma. Because the reality that you've been in is the cheating doesn't stop when he says it will. It stops when you say that it will. It stops when you reclaim your identity. When you start to find you. When you stop asking, why does he keep doing this to me? And start asking, why am I still allowing it? That's where it shifts. That's where the fog starts to lift. And that's where healing starts. Not from him, but it starts from you. So if you're ready to stop rationalizing the betrayal, if you're done being the one who gets broken every time because he just needs another ego boost, if you're at the place where you're ready to stop surviving and start rebuilding, then this is your next move. Drop a comment down below with a word that just says breakthrough. And I'll send you a link. Watch the video, fill out the form. You don't need permission to heal. You just need the tools. And I want to sit down and have a conversation with you so we can walk through this first step together. Choice is yours. Drop the word breakthrough below. Let's have a conversation. You've been told it's all your fault and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Schedule a call there and let's talk. Let's be real for a second. If you've ever been trapped in a narcissistic relationship, you know what it's like to be tangled in this web of lies. Manipulation, control, confusion. You know what it's like to have your identity just taken away, your reality to be completely twisted, your worth to be questioned, and slowly being stripped away piece by piece by piece of who you actually are. But what happens when you get to the place where a narcissist actually comes face to face with someone that he can't control or that he can't manipulate? Someone who sees through the mask that he currently has. Someone who refuses to believe the lies that he's projecting and saying. Someone who refuses to actually play the game. What happens when a narcissist meets someone who is authentic, who's truthful, and who's honest? Let's break it down today and be able to see what happens when this happens. A narcissist meets someone who's authentic, truthful, and honest and cannot be manipulated.